Hello and a very warm welcome. Driver ratings for the Tuscan Grand Prix as Lewis Hamilton extends his championship lead with a chaotic race which saw two red flags, carnage, crashes, safety car restarts. It had everything. As usual, we cover all 20 drivers and rate them out of 10 for their Tuscan weekend. Giovinazzi 5. Now there's going to be a lot of 5s because a lot of people DNF'd due to the big crash on the pit straight. So Giovinazzi 5, standard 5, P17 in qualifying, taken out on the restart and had nowhere to go. It was a massive misjudgment by all them drivers who were out the race. Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Latifi, and who was the other one? Sainz. Kimi Raikkonen 8, first points of the season. 2 points, P13 quali, P9 in the race. He got a 5-second penalty for going into the pits too late across the white line, so he dropped from 8th to 9th. But first points of the season for Kimi, and he's been performing well. Latifi 5, standard 5. He had a spin in practice 1, looked set to beat George Russell. Russell literally kept his foot in through the gravel trap, involved in a big crash on the pit straight, so most of these are just going to be 5. George Russell 7, brake issue in practice 3, missed a lot of running, huge nuts in qualifying. He hit the gravel trap, kept his foot in, running in the points for most of the race. He had a bad restart and ended up finishing 11th. Gutted for George Russell, deserved points, and he probably could get an 8 to be honest. I thought he was brilliant once again in the Williams, outperforming it. Kevin Magnussen 1, probably the worst driver of the weekend. He qualified last. It's becoming regular. I believe that's 3 times in a row he's qualified last, or 2 times. Caught up in the huge crash. An awful weekend for Kevin Magnussen. Romain Grosjean 6, one of his better weekends. Beat Kevin Magnussen all weekend. P12 in the race. He was running in the points but fell backwards. No pace. It's crazy that Grosjean finished the race. On lap 1, he was in the sandwich. Gasly, Kimi, Grosjean went through the gravel trap, managed to survive, and then all that nonsense on the start-finishing line, he managed to avoid that as well. So remarkably even finished, but a strong weekend for Grosjean. Although he finished last in the race, it was a better weekend for Grosjean. Gasly 2. Race winner at Monza, out in Q1, P16, 0 to 0. Big crash at the start, 3 into 1, doesn't go. Wow. He won a race in an AlphaTauri, back to reality, by not finishing the race. It's like, wow. He was quite bad in quali, race, didn't even get to race. Kvyat 8, beat Gasly, huge balls in quali, kept his foot in through the gravel trap. P12 quali, P7 in the race. A solid drive and a quiet race. Ricciardo 9, should have got his podium, the long-awaited podium. P4 in the race, passed by Alexander Albon late on. P8 quali, drove superb, just missed out on the podium. Albon has a faster car. He won driver of the day though, Daniel Ricciardo official, although I gave it to Albon. Ocon P5, P10 in quali, had a spin in quali, retired due to a brake issue, and he was running in the points, Ocon. But Russell said on the radio, Ocon's brakes on fire, and then he retired due to the red flag. Wouldn't have been safe. Lance Stroll 7, issues in practice 1, hampered his running. Q7, qualified 7th, promoted to 6th because Perez had a penalty. He was running in the points, driving well, and then a big car failure, and he went off through the gravel trap, destroyed the racing point. Perez 7, not aware in practice. He blocked Romain Grosjean. He had contact with Kimi Raikkonen, received a 1-place grid penalty. P5 in the race, hardly saw him, but great points for Sergio Perez. Quite mega I mean, it's obviously just been announced that Perez has been dropped, and he goes and gets 5th. Valtteri Bottas, 10. Now, I thought Bottas was the fastest all weekend out of the 2 Mercedes drivers. I thought Bottas was superb. Fastest all practice sessions, P2 in quali. Couldn't get pole due to Ocon and a yellow flag. Strongest weekend in ages for me, Bottas. That was up there with his Austria performance when he won. Hamilton, 10. Snatch pole, his 95th. 90th Formula 1 win, world champion, world-class driver. I mean, he just delivers, doesn't he? He was actually struggling around the Mugello circuit, yet he gets pole in the race win. Sebastian Vettel, 6. Stopped in practice 2. P14 in quali. Doesn't have the same car as Leclerc, it's evident to see in quali. P10 in the race, he made no mistakes but didn't have the pace. Charles Leclerc, 7. Qualifying star, qualified P5, P8 in the race. Struggled in the race, just went backwards, but he kind of outperformed the car in quali, so the faster cars behind him just overtook him in the race. 1000th race for Ferrari was a okay weekend, but obviously Ferrari don't want to be finishing 8th and 10th. Yeah, 8th and 10th. Albon, 10. P4, best qualifying in ages. First podium for Alexander Albon. Driver of the day for me. Confidence boost. Pierre Gasly wins. He's under pressure. Then he goes and delivers a podium. Wow. Much needed podium as well. Max, 5. Standard 5. Taken out in the race by Kimi Räikkönen. He had an issue even before he started the race. Set off. Got a good start. And then he lost power, dropped all the way down in the midfield. Kimi, Gasly, Grosjean, 3 into 1 doesn't go. And then Kimi basically punted Max out. And Max was very angry. Qualified 3rd, DNF in the race. Carlos Sainz, 5. Qualified P9. McLaren didn't have great pace. Very lucky to escape serious injury. Carlos Sainz was literally going flat out. Down the pit straight, Bottas is the safety car. Sainz was going full pelt, hit the back of someone, and he's literally so lucky because that was a scary impact. He was going flat out and people were just going dawdling. Total misjudgment by all the drivers in that incident because Bottas dictates the pace. Bottas is the safety car and he hadn't even gone and they'd already crashed. Norris, 7. Big crash in practice 2. Unlike Lando Norris to crash the car. Solid race, a quiet race. P6. McLaren didn't have great pace, but once again Norris scores points. I mean, it was a difficult weekend for McLaren. There we have it. Tuscan Grand Prix done. Qualifying reaction, race reaction, driver ratings for the Tuscan Grand Prix. And let's hope we come back to Mugello. An epic circuit. For me, we'll go to Russia next, and it'll be a snooze fest. Mugello should replace tracks like Russia. And yeah, what a track. Fast. Real test for the drivers. Their lowest gears, 4th. Great. So, we've got a couple of weeks off now, and then we go again. Russia. And Russia's usually a snooze fest. So, next weekend, Manchester United will get their season underway. And I believe Le Mans on next weekend. So may give that a watch. Thanks for watching. Comment down below, we'll always reply. And I, for one, really enjoyed the Tuscan Grand Prix. Mugello, great circuit, great atmosphere, great track, and a real test. Thanks for watching. Adios. Driver ratings for the Tuscan Grand Prix.